this game. A game in which your destiny depends upon your own decisions, and where the ultimate weapon is your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please take your seats at this time as the program will begin momentarily.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Gen X Dave, and this is Gen X and Beyond.
Hell yeah.
We're discussing some shit, the world as we live in it, the world we know, and it's fucking messed up. Two judges have been arrested for harboring illegal aliens.
Yeah, 2 judges.
And we're not talking about illegal aliens that come from outer space that are green. We're talking about illegals that have no business being in our country. Period. Point blank.
Living in their house.
Living in their houses. One judge had one living in his house. The other judge helped
Yeah, what
the illegal out of the courtroom.
Was running to him and led out the back door of the courtroom.
Yeah. Out the private exit from the judge's chambers.
Yeah, it's
yeah. I'm gonna look for it and bring it up, okay? So
I'm in my history right now. I can pop it up here.
Okay.
Once I find it. Here's
it should be Pam Bondi talking about it.
I don't have that one.
Let's see here.
I got KTLA 5 on the Wisconsin judge.
Yep, that's the Wisconsin judge. And there's another judge. Let's see here. See if I can find it. It's not looking like I could find it. Oh, nope, there it was. Son of a bitch. Hold on. Alrighty, here we go. We're not going to go through this whole thing. Okay, it's 29 minutes long. We're not going to go through it all, ladies and gentlemen. But what we are going to do is we're going to expose this to you so you guys know what's going on. And this is Fox News. This is let's see how old this is. This is 24 hours old.
Yesterday.
This is 24 hours old. So we're going to listen to a few minutes of this, and then we're going to get back into the show.
But first, breaking tonight, 2 judges potentially facing judgment over immigration-related crimes. We have a follow-up to a bizarre story we first brought you last night. A now former judge in New Mexico has been taken into custody over allegations he allowed a member of a violent international gang to stay in his home. Also tonight, word of another jurist in big trouble.
This judge.
Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt has the latest from our West Coast Bureau tonight. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening, Brett. And we'll start with that second jurist, Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan, who was arrested by the FBI this morning and within hours was making her first court appearance, charged with concealing an illegal immigrant and obstructing an official proceeding.
No justice, no peace. Let the judge be released.
Protesters gathered outside the Milwaukee County Courthouse today, shortly after the arrest of Circuit Court Judge Dugan, who is...
No justice, no peace. Let the judge be released or something like that. Is that what you're saying? Oh my God.
That's what they were saying.
Okay, listen. You motherfuckers have nothing better to do. Go the fuck home. Okay, there was justice. The judges got charged. So get over your fucking self.
Yeah, that is the justice right there.
is accused of helping an illegal immigrant, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, avoid arrest by ICE officers at that courthouse.
Hold on. I just gotta
Why
say
was he at the courthouse if he didn't do nothing wrong?
well, we're probably about to find out if they'll tell us, but this is my thing right here. You must not care about America.
Right. You can't. Not if you're.
You are so fucking out of touch and just a fucking natural born idiot. And I'm saying it. I don't give a fuck. I'm saying it. Natural born fucking idiot. If you think these motherfuckers deserve to be here. Illegal. You're a criminal as soon as you came into our country illegally.
Yeah, if you put your foot over the border and stay over here without documentation, that is illegal.
Without coming through ports of entry. You guys are fucking idiots.
You don't have no documentation, you are illegal. Somebody asked me the other day, define illegal immigrants. An immigrant without documentation or came through a point of entry would be an illegal.
You come into this country without documentation and letting people know at the port of entry, that's illegal immigrant. That's illegal alien. That means you committed a crime. You're already a criminal as soon as you came into this country.
Right.
All you motherfuckers out here that are applauding this.
There's limitations on it. It don't matter how long you stay.
There's a group of them. I like to call them, there's a whole group of people across the country, and they all preach the same thing, and they're all one big giant group. And I like to call them the AOC cheerleaders. Okay? AOC is so fucking dumb, she don't even know her fucking ass to a hole in the ground. Okay? She's better off being a bartender or a barmaid or a bar whore. But she has no business being in the fucking Congress.
Probably option 3.
Okay. So I'm just going to say this right now. You guys are uneducated. You don't know how the system, how it works and how it's played out. You really don't care about this country and your fellow Americans. And you are protesting the wrong fucking bullshit. Okay.
Right.
So let's get that through your fucking thick skulls. Oh, wait a minute. You might have thin skulls. That's the reason why you're such a fucking idiot.
The criminal complaint against Dugan says, quote, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse.
Okay, we're going to take that back. I want you guys to listen to that.
Milwaukee County Courthouse today, shortly after the arrest of Circuit Court Judge Dugan, who is accused of helping an illegal immigrant, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, avoid arrest by ICE officers at that courthouse. The criminal complaint against Dugan says, quote, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse.
We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. You cannot obstruct a criminal case and really shame.
Okay, the one who's talking, just in case you idiots live on a rock and you don't know who the fuck's talking, that's a fucking Attorney General of the United States of America, Pam Bondi.
On her. It was a domestic violence case.
Milwaukee's Democrat mayor is furious at the Trump administration's action in arresting a judge at the courthouse.
These actions right now run completely counterclockwise to what he's trying to do, what he thinks he's trying to do, which is make a safer America.
In New Mexico, another judge appeared in federal court today after...
Hold on. What did he just say? Hold on. Let me hear what this dude just said.
Shame on her. It was a domestic violence case.
Milwaukee's Democrat mayor is furious at the Trump administration's action in arresting a judge.
Who gives a flying fuck if you're furious? Fuck you.
Judge at the courthouse.
These actions right now.
He's mad at her, at Trump's team, because they arrested her at the courthouse.
Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so let me. Okay.
Run completely counterclockwise to what he's trying to do, what he thinks he's trying to do, which is make a safer America.
In New Mexico, another judge appeared in federal court today after being arrested Thursday and charged with tampering with evidence in the investigation of his alleged harboring of an illegal immigrant. Joel Cano resigned in March from his position as a county magistrate judge based in Las Cruces, New Mexico, after federal agents raided his home and took into custody Christian Ortega Lopez, allegedly a member of Tren de Aragua.
Gangbangers, okay, rapists, murderers, killers, drug dealers. You know what I'm saying?
As well as two Venezuelan men, all of whom had been staying in a guest house on Cano's property. Cano claims he saw no signs of gang membership and wrote in a letter to the New Mexico Judicial Standards Commission, quote, "I cannot help but feel that the capture of these boys is just another unfortunate addition to the current nationwide effort to apprehend, detain, and deport anyone not born in the U.S."
And that's not, listen, you cannot listen to what this judge who's been arrested just said in this statement. You got to listen to this, okay? We're not getting rid of people who are not born in America. That's not what we are doing. What we are doing is removing the people out of this country that have no business here, that came over the border illegally and snuck in. Okay?
What, the
And
20
they're
million
going
that we
back.
had snuck in?
They're going back. And if they deport themselves, they could come in legally if they fill out the paperwork and come in through the port of entry.
Yeah, if they deport themselves through the CBP One app,
yep,
they can come back. They have a chance to come back. And yes, for those that don't commit crimes, that are upstanding citizens, that love this country, yeah, I have no problem with you coming here legally.
Right. Legally, you know, you got family here. Granted, they came in legally. Why can't you? Obviously, something you did wrong. But if you did nothing wrong, then you're more than welcome. But all I'm saying is this right here. This is bullshit. That's a fucking lie. And that's just propaganda that he himself is trying to push.
Yep.
Yes. Attorney General Pam Bondi also said today she believes that the judges in these cases are, quote, deranged and consider themselves above the law. And the AG said the arrests should send a message that the Trump administration will to act not just against illegal immigrants, but also against the judges the White House and DOJ feel are protecting those illegal immigrants. Brett?
All right. So they're not playing games. They're not fucking messing around.
No.
So that's just the way it is. So we're going to end it right there on that note. But yeah, I mean, they're not playing games. We're not playing games. We as a country cannot allow the illegals to be here. And the reason why I say that is because you think it may be helping the country. It's not. It is hurting us. Okay, we're going further and further in debt. We cannot just print fucking money and buy ourselves and use that money that we print to. We can't print trillions of dollars to pull ourselves out of debt. Our dollar would drop to zero,
right,
if we did that.
Again, if you think that we can't just print money, then you don't know the value of dollar and you need to go learn it.
Yes, the bottom line. I'm not saying that certain people shouldn't just be able to stay. Okay, I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to stay. If they're good stand-up citizens and they're fucking work and they try to fucking, give to the community as much as the community gives to them. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they're getting everybody. They're getting certain ones. They're starting
Right.
with the hardest criminals right now.
Right now.
And just like Tom Homan, the Borders are said, if there happens to be other people that are illegal around the people that they are going after, then that's just casualties of war.
Right. That's just gonna happen.
So
You're gonna be associated with them, therefore
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
go with
get
them.
pinned down to, Trinidad Aragua or whatever gang affiliates that you're hanging out with.
I'm gonna tell you what. As an Illinois native, okay, where I live now currently, and it's pretty bad when the Chicago gangs. It's pretty bad when the Chicago gangs have to put down their turf wars to come together to save their neighborhoods from Trinidad, Aragua, MS-13. Okay,
Yep.
all right, it's bad. When I say that, the people in Chicago who live there know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Same goes for Los Angeles.
And the only way
Same goes for
the only way that we
yeah.
can get that out of our state, get Governor Pritzker out.
Look, when the fucking P-Stones and the fucking GDs fucking are fucking sitting there, helping each other out, protecting the neighborhoods from the Mexican cartels and MS-13, yes, that's when there's a fucking problem in Chicago.
Yeah, and
Because those local wars, those local gangs, the Latin Kings, the Royals, the P-Stones, the Four Corner Hustlers, the fucking goddamn Tutu Boys, the Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples. There's many more, dude. I could go on. P-Stones. There's money, Bloods, Crips. There's many more I could go through that are up there. When all them gangs are fucking cease firing on a turf war to save their own neighborhoods from those guys, that's when there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the only reason why I know about all these gangs is because I ran with them all. I had friends in each set. I had friends in GDs. I had friends in Royals. I had friends that were Latin Kings, Vice Lords, P-Stones, Tutu Boys. The list goes on. Okay. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help the people that you get along with.
Exactly. So you got to look at it like, do we do this or do we not? And we need to not and just go ahead and let the ICE agents and them guys do their fucking job. Stop your crying, go the fuck home.
I
That's all
don't
I'm
have
saying.
a problem with it. The one that does have a problem with it is fucking up Illinois.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this to the whole world. You ready for this? I'm going to say this to the whole world. Hopefully, one day somebody will see this part of the video. Okay. I said this before and I'm going to say it again. Okay.
Pritzker needs to go to prison.
Abraham Lincoln and two black fellows created the Republican Party. They freed the slaves. The Democrats fought about it, which caused the Civil War, which also was a land grab. But it happened. All right? It happened. The Democratic Party created a little club called the Ku Klux Klan, Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. One of their former Civil War generals was the leader, was the creator. I don't know his name. You have to go look it up. You can research it. It'll fucking tell you. Did you know they rode in on on the back of horses? Fucking going into Republican registered houses, whites and blacks, and was murdering them in their sleep in the middle of the night?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that happened. Let's go forward a few years. Let's go to segregation. Okay, the Democrats fought to never end segregation. They wanted black only schools, white only schools, black only restaurants, white only restaurants, black only buses, white only buses, so on and so forth. You guys know this. This is truth. The Democrats, okay?
Yeah, it wasn't the Republicans.
The Republicans fought against it.
Yep.
Okay. The only Democrat, and I believe to this day that it's one of the reasons why he was killed, the only Democrat that was for the ending of segregation was John F. Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's jump forward a few more years. Okay. So from the time of segregation ending, equal rights, voting rights, job rights, school rights, all that shit happened from that time till now. What have the Democrats been doing?
They're trying to fuck up the country.
Cry wolf and brainwash, specifically targeting black cities, black neighborhoods, targeting them and brainwashing them that it's the Republicans that are racist.
Yep.
When we know from Abraham Lincoln and still to this day, the Republicans has been for one thing. All men and women are created equal. They're all created equal, right? So it didn't matter. A colorblind party versus the racist party who's brainwashing you, who's crying wolf when there is none, lying to you, and you're believing it. Men are men, women are women. There's only two genders. I don't care what anybody says. And no, men cannot be in women's sports, and no, men cannot invade women's spaces. If you guys can't understand about the women thing, go read about the women's history. You'll wake up. So, you guys need to wake up. That's all I'm saying. Wake up.
Again, on the a little touch on the immigration thing again.
Yeah.
You can't go to any other country and just stay there.
No. Hell no, because they're going to fucking boot you. Go ahead. I dare you to go to Africa without letting them know you're coming to Africa. And let them find out you're an illegal. See what they do to you. Go to China and do that shit. I bet you won't survive. Go to Russia or you're going to do that shit.
Russia.
I'm telling you this right now.
Israel.
Not one country on this planet.
No.
Not one. That won't see you as a criminal because
it will extradite you.
He will arrest you and charge you. in every country because you came into their country illegally without letting them know, without telling them, without going through ports of entry. They're going to fuck you up.
And they will extradite you.
Yep. So they'll boot your ass out of this fucking country, so damn fast. You know?
Sir.
So don't think we're the bad guys. We're not the only ones. Mexico would boot us out just like we will. You know what I'm saying? It's, man, it's whatever.
Our world,
Yep.
the one we live in today. Ain't it amazing?
And a little bit of Illinois. We're going to go over some Illinois homeschool rallying. So let's go into this because this is something
I don't
attention
get
to.
it. Why? If Trump wants to end the
Board of Education.
Board of Education, then why is the state sitting there telling people if you homeschool your kids, you have to register your kids for school?
Homeschooling.
Oh yeah, because if they don't, they lose out on that tax.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not registering my school kid in the Riverton school while they stay home and learn off the PC through K through 12.
Then
Not
you'll go to
doing it.
prison.
Well, they could fucking fight me on that. They're breaking my constitutional right of freedom and the fucking pursuit of happiness. You know what I'm saying? They're breaking that.
Governor Pritzker's rule.
I know. We're
You
gonna
go-
look. We're getting into that right now. So here we go. You ready? Let's go.
From homeschoolers rallying in Chicago to the Senate passing all kinds of bills to measures being proposed to lift the nuclear moratorium, it was a busy day yesterday across the state when it comes to issues at the Illinois State House. I'm Greg Bishop, Associate Editor for the state of Illinois with the Center Square, and you can find the headlines my team and I put together at thecentersquare.com/Illinois, where you can also sign up for that newsletter to get the headlines
Thank you, Greg.
in your inbox each and every weekday morning. All right, where are we at here? There we are. All right, so let's go to thecentersquare.com, and we've already talked this morning about the bill to allow for recall. We talked about the Senate Executive Committee meeting to discuss the issue of safe gun storage, but Jim Talamonte, our reporter out of Chicago yesterday, he was able to go downtown and witness and report on the rally of homeschool families that rallied at Daly Plaza in downtown Springfield. So let's just go to Jim's story here and read a little bit of it. Parents and community leaders.
I just want to say something before we get any further into this homeschooling thing. You guys, the government, aka the government, caused the increase of homeschooling because you guys pushed lies and propaganda in mainstream and side stream media, okay, to the point to where it caused a lot of mass shootings in schools across the country, okay, and not allowing the schools to be able to have what they needed to hire proper security to make sure that shit don't happen. But I digress. Here we go.
Speaking out against legislation at the Illinois State House that would punish homeschool families if they don't comply with new state government reporting mandates. And as you can see there, a fair amount of families with tons of microphones from Chicago media, homeschool advocates on the location of Daly Plaza. Now, we talked about House Bill 2827, and if you haven't seen that, we actually put the entirety of the debate on that on our YouTube channel. So you can find the debate about the Homeschool Act on the Center Square's YouTube channel. But the legislation from State Representative Tara Costa Howard did advance out of the House committee last week. Possibly we could see amendments, but the sponsor said it's time for Illinois to come into terms with 38 other states, she said, has more regulations on homeschooling. You have Pastor Chris Butler, State Representative LaShawn Ford, others who were talking during this rally, and let's just watch and hear a little bit of what's going on. Vote no. Chanting vote no. That's a fair amount of people there.
But right now, I don't believe the bill is exactly what's needed in Illinois. Amen. Yeah!
That's Representative Ford. He's been opposed to this.
Restorative justice, I believe, and making sure that people don't have a pathway to the justice system, the criminal justice system, and this bill is a pipeline to the criminal justice system.
Bills like this, and there's a lot of bills, even small, stupid bills. It's across this country in almost every single state we live in, ladies and gentlemen, that has dumb bills and dumb laws that should never be laws to get you wrapped up in the criminal system. And that's how they start the ball rolling, to get you spiraling downhill and possibly serve prison sentence so they could shuffle money between private prisons and the government and or entities like BlackRock and Vanguard, Oracle, and the list goes on, with these oligarch companies to be able to funnel and wash money through between them. You know what I'm saying? So the more criminals they make, more criminals are in prisons, the more money they make. Same with the school system. More students that come into the school building and sit down in a seat, the more money they'll get from the state and the federal government. Do you get what I'm saying? They're doing it as a way to create another law to try to criminalize parents and make them criminals.
Right. System for parents, and I can't stand for that. How can we criminalize parents for wanting to love their children?
It's an interesting perspective LaShawn Ford has there. Ford is definitely a proponent.
Didn't he? He just repeated what I did, but in lesser form and lesser words.
Basically, but I mean, besides that, at least he has a thought process for himself. He's not following J.B. Pritzker's
of reforming the criminal justice system and making sure that there are things to.
We're going to go back a little bit. Look at the name and look at what party this guy is from.
He's a Democrat.
State Representative Ford, Democrat of Chicago. You get that?
Parents for wanting to love their children.
It's an interesting perspective LaShawn Ford has there. Ford is definitely a proponent of reforming the criminal justice system.
Family priorities over his party line.
Yeah, basically what's going on is there's people that's trying to take our sovereign rights away. So they have complete control over us. Okay? This has to stop. It only stops when you step forward and voice what's right and wrong and learn with common sense.
And making sure that there are things to divert somebody from being on the path towards imprisonment, right? So he will
Oh my God, didn't I just say that, bro? Didn't I just say what he just said?
Justice system and making sure that there are things to divert somebody from being on the path towards imprisonment, right? So he will regularly oppose things like penalty enhancements. That's another conversation that's had at the State House all the time. Democrats don't want penalty enhancements for things like drugs or driving or things like that because they feel it compounds on those who are least.
Do what?
But yeah, I don't think that we want to be too soft on some crimes either.
No, we don't want to be too soft on some crimes, but we don't want to be harsh to the point to where.
And homeschooling your child is not a fucking crime.
No, it's not. It's your God-given
Nor
right.
should it ever be considered a crime
Right.
to homeschool your child
Exactly.
without registering your child with the fucking state
I
so they
believe-
get federal funds.
I believe you should have to report it to the state that your kid's in homeschooling and what they're doing, so the state can send you in the mail the standardized test that they need to pass if that's the school, you know what I'm
Which
saying?
is by the school standards, which is bullshit. No.
But what I'm saying is this right here. They still get no money for that because they're being homeschooled, and the parents are paying for a tutor or a teacher to come to the house, or now they're doing it online. So, it's a lot more advanced. But what they're learning is the fact that their kids are more safer home. So why don't their kids just stay home and learn online?
Then I become a teacher and switch out one of these flags back behind me into a pride flag.
No, turn it into American flag. What's wrong with you? It's not what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. They can.
I know they can, and it probably does happen. But this should aggravate every parent, regardless if their kid's homeschooled or public schooled. This should be every parent should be uproaring about this, not just a handful.
Able to afford those types of penalties and fines, so they don't want penalty enhancements. But sometimes Republicans are looking for penalty enhancements as like a deterrent of sorts, right? So interesting to hear LaShawn Ford bring that into this conversation of sorts, saying that all this bill's going to do is set parents up to be on that path to getting fines or to getting, possibly even jail time. Here is Pastor. Who was this? Pastor Chris Butler. He was there as well, sharing some of.
And you know what? That makes me think there is some shit out there that the Republican Party is a little too hard on. Some crimes I know the Republican Party is about fairness, and they're about being tough on crime, and they're about making sure people learn a lesson and move on and do better in life and blah, blah, blah. I get it.
Work for
right there with you. But there's just some shit you could just leave the fuck alone.
Because you have to earn what you get.
So
you're not
I don't agree everything
shit in life.
More okay. I'm independent. I'm a constitutionalist first and foremost. Okay.
All right, whatever's on that Constitution, I stand for.
And I'm America first all the way.
Yes.
I'm a nationalist.
I would much rather buy American made than anything else.
Exactly. Why not support each other? That's the way it should be. But I digress. I'm just saying there's just some crimes even God can forgive.
His thoughts.
Yeah.
Why is everybody putting up with ads like?
I don't know, but I'm sick of this ad. Anyway, but we get what they're going at. Okay, homeschooling you cannot touch. You shouldn't touch ever, and that's just the way it should be.
Right. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think we're going to end it with that. Just remember, treat each other right. Judge a person based on character, not on skin color. Use common sense. Stop being a Karen. And just live your life. Be free.
Hey, and also like, share, and subscribe.
Always like, share, and subscribe. So, with that being said, peace.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button.
Like, comment,